I've tried many apps to see what they can do, but I've been hearing more and more about Apple's productivity tools. To be honest, I thought they were maybe too simple at first, but it turns out Apple has been quietly adding new stuff to their apps, and now they have built a pretty robust productivity system. So today we're going to take a closer look at it and see what it can do. This video is sponsored by TextCortex. Apple Notes might look simple, but it's packed with features that make it incredibly useful for everyday tasks. For example, the latest update has added a bunch of new features like linked notes. This allows you to link notes together like a personal web of ideas. It helps you keep track of related thoughts and notes without getting lost. Say I'm planning an event and have different notes for the guest list, venue options, and the tasks. I can link them all up. This way, when I look at my venue options, I can tap a link that takes it to the guest list in an instant. It makes it so much easier to find what I need without having to search through a sea of notes. Quick Notes is another smart feature that I love. Just swipe or tap and you get to jot down anything quickly, whether that's while browsing the web or in the middle of another task. And it even grabs the URL of the website you're on, which helps you remember where you got the idea from. Then the note shows up again when you visit that website, which reminds you of what you were thinking last time you were there, which I find super neat. Because of this feature, I think you can even use Apple Notes as your bookmark manager. Combined with tags, I think it'll be great for managing links from the internet. Creating a quick note is a breeze. On my Mac, it's as simple as hitting a keyboard shortcut. On my iPhone, I use the Share Sheet or Control Center to start a quick note. And no matter how I create them, all my quick notes end up in their own special folder within the app, so they're easy to find later when I need them. It's a straightforward, helpful way to make sure I never lose those sudden thoughts again. Okay, now with just a few taps, I can create a checklist that is great for keeping track of tasks and project progress. You can also add tables, and tweaking them is very intuitive. More columns, more rows. You can easily have a structured view of whatever you're organizing, be it expenses, weight, or whatever you want. Apple Notes currently has two view options, the list view and gallery view. It doesn't make a big difference in my opinion, but I'd say I prefer the gallery view because I get to see the content of each note as well, which is useful for finding what I'm looking for. When it comes to keeping things tidy, there's regular folders and smart folders. Regular folders are just that, places where I drop my notes on different topics or projects. However, the smart folders, those are much more customizable. They use tags or different types of filters to sort my notes automatically. For example, I made a smart folder called Restaurant, which automatically collects any notes with the restaurant hashtag. And similarly, you can create folders with different filters, like shared notes, notes with your mention, notes with checklist, and so on. So you can create a lot of different rules for your smart folders. This mix of simple yet smart features can make Apple Notes a great platform for keeping your thoughts and projects in line without getting bogged down by complications. Now, you can also lock any note if it contains sensitive information. This means I can jot down anything from a personal journal entry to sensitive work info, lock it with a password, then easily unlock it with Face ID or Touch ID or just password. It's that extra layer of privacy that makes a big difference. Also, if you want to get rid of paper clutter, it has the document scanning feature. I can scan recipes, forms, or pages from books right into my notes using my iPhone's camera. It's actually super quick and simple. I just tap and hold the icon, select Scan Document, and the app practically does the rest. It recognizes the document, captures it, and lets me add a few tags if necessary. Now, if you want to mark up a scanned document, you can do it directly in the app. Just tap the pencil icon and you can draw, highlight, and add text. And I think with the latest updates, even PDFs can be annotated. If you upload PDF files, you can edit them right within the app. But where Apple Notes shines for me is in how easily I can collaborate with other people. If I'm planning a group event or collaborating on work, I can share a note with a tap, so you can brainstorm, write, and edit together. By the way, if you're going to use Apple Notes for taking notes and writing, I highly recommend adding TextCortex to the mix. It's an AI assistant that works great with Apple Notes. When you're writing something, you can simply highlight the text you want to help with, and TextCortex will give you a list of things you can do with it, like rewrite it, expand it, fix the grammar, change the tone, and more. You can even ask it to continue writing for you in case you got stuck. But if you need more assistance, you can open the chat window to ask a question or just to have a conversation if you're bored. But what I like about this is that you can pin the window to anywhere you like on your screen, so it stays on top of other apps. This way you can work on different windows and still see and interact with the AI easily. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference. But what I love the most about this tool is that it has lots of customization options. For instance, personas are like different characters for the AI assistant. If you need help with coding, for example, you can pick Linus, who's a programming expert, or you can pick Lisa, who is a language expert to practice your language skills. You can even create your own persona who knows your writing style and personality, so you can actually produce writing that's just like you. I actually use my own persona all the time when I need help with writing. Also, websearch is really useful for researching. It allows you to specify the source of information you want to use, and then it will fetch relevant information from that source, which can be Reddit, YouTube, Wikipedia, or academic papers. But the best part is that it lets you upload any data source for the AI to use. This means you can upload your own notes and then you can ask anything about them. It's pretty cool to be able to have your own AI assistant that knows everything about what you learned. And you can even have it write something for you based on your own notes. They also recently added an integration with Google Drive, so you can allow the assistant to read your documents inside your drive and then answer questions about them. This way you can quickly let the assistant answer any questions you may have about your documents and files. It's available as a web app, Markup, and a browser extension, so give it a try if you're interested. It's a great tool to have not just with Apple Notes, but also with your other note-taking apps too. Apple Journal is the latest addition to their app library, which seems perfect because a smartphone is such an integral part of our daily lives, which makes it an ideal place for a personal journaling app. Anyway, it looks kind of basic, but it's actually pretty good. What I love most about it is that it uses machine learning to create personalized suggestions based on your recent activities, like where you went, the photos you took, and people you met. This is great to make it easier for you to start writing, especially when you have no idea what to write about, which I think is a common problem for people who are just getting started with journaling. Even if you don't necessarily write anything, looking back at your activities and photos is really fun and interesting too. Also, if you don't want to type, you can use voice dictation. This way you can journal faster and even while doing something else like cooking or driving. And obviously your journal is private and only for yourself. Well, usually, so you can lock it with a password or your face. I've used Apple's Reminders app only when I wanted to share to-do lists with my wife, who also has an iPhone, but I have to admit it's actually becoming one of the best free to-do apps out there. For example, now it has columns for sections, which is a great way to organize tasks visually. You can transform your to-do list into Kanban board that makes it easy to track progress. Personally, I prefer Kanban style to the traditional list view. Also, Apple recently introduced templates, which takes the hassle out of writing down routine items each time. You can save any list as a template and then just use them again and again. But since most people use this app for grocery lists, it has a built-in grocery list template. So as you add new items to your list, it will automatically categorize and reorder them for you, like dairy, produce, meat, and frozen food, which makes shopping a lot easier. Subtasks are also one of my favorite features. I find it super useful when some tasks are too overwhelming. I can use subtasks to break them down into more manageable chunks. It turns a huge project into smaller, achievable steps, making it easier to get started and maintain momentum. Also, there are many options to customize the to-dos in this app. For example, I love early reminders. They essentially notify you ahead of time, which helps you to be ready for what's coming. This way, you don't have to have those last-minute rushes to meet deadlines. Also, location reminders are a game changer for someone who remembers things they need to do based on where they are. They're set to trigger when you arrive at or leave a location. For example, they remind you to grab milk on the way out of the gym or start a task when you arrive at the office. Another really clever feature that I've never seen in any other app is this seamless integration with the Message app. You can set reminders to be triggered when you're messaging someone. This is so useful when you have something you need to mention to someone. Using these features has been straightforward and effective. For instance, I set an early reminder for a friend's birthday gift a week in advance, so there's always enough time for picking out something thoughtful. Or if there's an errand to run, I set a location-based reminder, so as soon as I walk near the pharmacy, my phone reminds to get some medicines I need. For meetings, if there's an agenda or issue I need to bring up, I use the when messaging function to drop a reminder. And the next time I'm texting with a colleague or a friend, I get a prompt with a reminder. Also, if you want to create a more customized list, you can use Smart List. This lets you make a list based on criteria you set. For example, if you want to see a list of all your important to-dos, you can make a filter for that. Similarly, if you want to see a list of tasks when you're home, you can create a location filter so it shows only your home tasks. So there are many ways to use this feature to make a list more useful. On top of these, there are lots of small but useful features. For instance, when you're creating a new reminder, it gives you suggestions based on your past entries. This way, you don't have to type out the same reminder over and over. By the way, if you have a Mac, the new update now lets you create a widget on your desktop, so you can see your reminders and notes at a glance. And it's not just the Apple apps, but also third-party apps too. Alright, if you want to see my productivity setup, check out this video. And thank you so much for watching till the end. See you in the next one. Bye!